Hey everybody, this is Kevin,
And this is Frank.
and on this episode, we're going to talk about a small battle we had Gibson USA versus the custom shop over the idea of is bigger really better? What are we talking about? Stick around, we'll tell you all about it.
Go behind the headstop with Kevin and Frank, two ex-Gibson employees talking about guitars and the guitar industry with an inside perspective.
All right, so hey, welcome everybody, welcome back. Hit that subscribe button, follow us, ring that bell to get notified when we post some new videos. But we're back, and we're here to talk to you tonight about we're going to go back a couple episodes. Frank and I had talked about how at Gibson, each division of Gibson, there were several divisions. You had Gibson Montana, Gibson USA, Custom Shop, Epiphone, Valley Arts for a moment, Steinberger, Baldwin. There was all these divisions, right? And it was a unwritten and really a written rule that the expectation was that we grow 30% every year. And you do that one year and you're expected to do it another year, and it gets really, really hard. So there were at times it felt like at Gibson USA, where Frank and I both worked, we were getting squeezed from the top on down from the custom shop. We're trying to take our customers away, and Epiphone was trying to come up and take our customers away from the lower end.
Well, all three of us sold the same guitars.
Right.
You know?
We all sold Les Pauls.
The same guitar, so it's,
Yeah.
It's hard to find distinction in there.
We all sold SGs, Les Pauls, Vs, Explorers. I mean, everything, right? So at times we were fighting over the same customer. And to be honest, at times the custom shop made a few attempts that we have more episodes to talk about to take away Gibson USA customers and bring them into the custom shop. To put that in perspective, at any given time, our output at Gibson USA was in the 100. We could easily be at 600 guitars a day. Put that in perspective, custom shop was about 60 guitars a day. So if you were required to grow 30% in a year, it's pretty easy to dip into the Gibson USA customer pile and pull customers away. Now, they're our brothers. We got along very well with our brothers at Epiphone and Custom Shop. We would, go to the NAMM shows together and all the NAMM show parties.
We all helped each other. I
totally, right?
Helped Epiphone. I helped Custom Shop whoever needed it.
Correct.
We all helped each other.
I remember at times we shared tonnage of lacquer that we were allowed to spray with OSHA, right? We had to buy a certain amount of tons in the beginning of the year. When your custom shop ran out, so we were able to take some of our tonnage and give it over to them.
Custom shop, we were all connected via land. We were all three buildings together. Mm-hmm. It was us, and then Epiphone, and then Custom Shop. So that considered one campus. So we were allowed to share the VOC.
Yep.
That way. So it worked out for some people. It helped out.
Yeah, and if somebody ran out of some parts and we had some extra parts, we would take care of each other, right? But all is fair in love and war.
For a $25 line item charge. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got a bill for the Summer Jam, too, that came out of nowhere. That was a surprise.
Yeah, well,
Custom Shop threw a party and we paid for it.
Yeah, we got a little tent in the corner.
And we had to buy our own lights.
Which are right behind me.
That's great.
The purple lights you see are from
That's
that
awesome. Yeah, we went to Guitar Center and bought a bunch of lights. All right, so anyway, this is going back to maybe around 2006, 2007, out of the blue. Comes a post from the custom shop showing in relation, see if I can share it here on my PowerPoint. So we are at work one day, and this picture, not this exact picture, but basically the exact picture, got posted by the custom shop showing the short tenon from Gibson USA versus the traditional historic long tenon from the custom shop. So, Frank, you're more of an expert on the short rocker tenon that we used at Gibson USA, but from what I recall, that was a Norland thing that came out maybe early 70s.
Yeah, it was that way the whole time I'd been there. When I got there in the 80s, that's what they were doing, cutting it like that, and that's kind of exaggerated. I mean, some fit a lot better than that. That's kind of a really bad one,
right?
That they picked. Usually there was a little clearance up at the top by the heel, like under where it says short. Yeah. There was a little bit of clearance there because they didn't want it to force change the neck pitch in any way. They wanted to get the pitch off the fingerboard laying on top of the actual body of the maple top. So the fretboard would lay on top of that, and that would smooth out the whole pitch angle. So yeah, it fit really well on the sides, which you can't see the back side or the front side because they cut it.
Right.
So it fit really tight that way. But there was a gap in the back sometimes, and a gap near the heel as well. So
right. I mean, they couldn't have made it look any worse.
No, they picked a really bad one. Right.
Right.
And you don't get to see where it's actually up against the sides of the neck pocket.
Right. Right.
You don't see the sides.
No.
So that's where the strength was, from the sides and the face of the fingerboard.
Yeah, all of this was glue surface area, right?
Right,
right. And I'm sure much more of that tongue touched the bottom in some sense, right? And I remember we left some room here because we didn't want any compression if there was some glue, right? That might cause an air pocket to make that seat.
Well, because right? after we neck fit it, the glue, we would hang it up by the headstock. So remember, it would hang on the trees after neck fitting. So they would hang them by the headstock, so the glue would wick down into that little cavity. Yeah. See where it's chamfered on the back of the neck?
Right here.
There, chamfered. Yep. That was for glue to wick down into
and that. You can see exactly how that happened right here with the glue.
Right.
Yeah.
That was common occurrence.
Yeah.
And then,
But anyway, I remember specifically sitting at my desk, seeing this with our buddy Eric Marlowe. I wish he was still here because he'd be a great addition to this episode and the whole show. We went, what the F is this about? Like a total kick in the groin from our brothers down the street, just totally.
Another thing, look how deep they cut ours, because you can see the whole cleat of the end of the truss rod.
Oh yeah,
the whole truss rod on there. You can barely see that opening in the hole.
No, right. Yeah, you can see the maple. Well, I think, Frank, do you remember there was a point where we made sample guitars where we cut them in half and we sent them out to BDMs and some stores and the DPSs?
Probably, yeah.
I remember having half a Les Paul sitting on top of my cubicle.
We put it on the mantelpiece on the top,
Yeah, exactly. So
be laying horizontally.
Yeah, I think they doctored that up quite a bit, but we cut it right down the middle. You could tell this is not right down the middle.
Right. Neither of the other ones.
Don't know if that makes a huge difference, but again, we were like, hey, we wouldn't do that to you. Why are you doing it to us?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like you said, they had to grow 30%, and they have to give people a reason to buy their guitar over ours because it was twice as much, but it was the same wood from the same suppliers, and different people doing it, a few different specifications, and they had some different modifications, and really talented people, Tom Murphy and the fellas over there and the ladies.
Totally. Yep.
They had some really talented folks over at the custom shop. So
hey, I bought one.
They made beautiful guitars.
I bought one. It's hanging right behind me. Yeah.
Right. So but they had to give people a reason to buy them. So, but unfortunately, we were the victim in that one. But we could have done that. We could have took that low road and all that, when we did stuff, but we didn't. Because I think we kind of understood what was going on, and Henry allowed it. So what were we going to say about it?
Yeah. Yep.
So we just had to go back to the drawing board. That's all.
Yep. And like you said, we didn't go low. We went high. Right. But we were very proud to be Gibson USA guys. Very proud of the fact that we felt we were getting squeezed all the time from the top and from the bottom. So what did we do? We said, well, let's make it better.
Let's face it, we were the cash cow. They could have all those other divisions, but if we had terrible months,
nobody had a good month. Yeah.
Right. It was bad. When we had killer months, everybody was good. So, we were the company that was making a lot of money. We were
we kept Baldwin alive, we kept Slingerland alive, we kept Steinberger alive, we kept projects like the digital guitar we kept alive. We funded all that and all the other iterations of that. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of the cash that ran the company, came from our division.
Totally.
So, be that as it may, they let Custom Shop get away with a few indiscretions to try to boost their sales. And I'm sure it worked for them,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they sold it well. I mean,
oh, yeah.
If you look at it, it looks like, that looks a lot better.
I mean, that looks horrible.
Yeah, the common sense guy's like, that does look good.
How does that neck even stay in, right? It looks horrible. It couldn't have looked any worse. It was damage control time at Gibson USA that morning. We were pissed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there was also a video, Frank. Let's see if you remember this. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. All right, Frank, here is a video that the Custom Shop posted about this very topic. Is bigger better? Here we go. There's our friend Edwin.
One of the changes that I want to talk about at first are the differences between the neck tenons on historic reissues and on standard Gibson product. So, in the beginning, neck tenons on Gibson solid body guitars like Les Pauls and stuff were long tenons on the necks. They were made like this. It was a traditional way of building musical instruments. At a point in the early 70s, Gibson ended up changing to an easier to manufacture, shorter neck tenon, and that neck tenon looks like this.
Because we're lazy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, here we go.
If you look at both of them together, you can notice that one of them actually stops short of the fingerboard down at the bottom, which is the short neck tenon, and the other one actually goes beyond it and actually goes into the front pickup cavity of the guitar. One of them will give you more wood-to-wood surface that gets glued than the other one. This one is a historic one. This one is a regular production Les Paul model. They are both still used today in different guitars, but this is the one that is used in historic Les Paul reissues. You can notice the differences.
And he's not saying that it's bad. He's leaving that to your imagination. You know what I mean? Because I mean, let's face it, Edwin came from our building anyway.
Yeah.
So he's leaving it to your imagination to say, is more wood better? That's up for the customer to decide. Does that even make a difference? I saw a thing on the Les Paul forum. Some guy said, once the drummer comes in, it really doesn't matter how.
Correct.
These are electric guitars.
People covet what they can see.
Right. And marketing is a key to everything,
Yeah. So again, but this came on the heels of that post, and we're like, oh man.
Yeah.
The double whammy, right?
They were shooting across the bow for sure.
I mean, they brought people right up to that edge saying, you don't want this one, you want this one. I mean, brought you right to that edge, right? I mean, it was pretty obvious.
They never really came out and said that.
The regular one. The regular one for the regular guy.
Right. Right. But
no one wants to be regular.
Right. Nobody wants to pay $2,500 for a guitar. They want to pay $5,000.
What was that Rodney Dangerfield movie where he had the regular guy clothes? You remember that?
Oh yeah. Easy money.
Easy money, yeah. Yeah. So, the internet ran with this.
Yeah.
The middle picture, actually, somebody I think from the Les Paul forum or my Les Paul.
Oh, picture number 2, you mean?
Picture number 2 to show the transition, like the 68 neck tenon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just wanted to show the different iterations of the neck tenons there. And then over on the right is another picture from the custom shop showing in detail the rocker tenon versus the historic tenon. I mean, it's a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Frank, probably later that day or the day after, which if I remember, we were already working on a new version of the Les Paul Standard, but we basically said, well, we don't have to be historic. We could go in any direction we want to go with the redesign of the Les Paul Standard. And since this is a thing, how about we create the biggest, the meatiest, the girthiest neck tenon ever to be seen on a Gibson. And that's it.
The bell, the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
I remember Keith designed that, right? That was a Keith Medley, I think.
Keith designed it, and I remember Jeff Allen said I wanted to make it like a key at the end.
Right, so it locks in, right.
Yeah, so it's not just straight, it's actually keyed in, so it's really locking into place there.
Yeah.
Right?
And had more surface area than custom shop.
It was huge, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, you'll know this, and I kind of know the answer to this, but I think our viewers would get a kick knowing this. Why are these here?
That's just to help the fit, and that's a glue squeeze out too. Because as you would neck fit it, you would take the paintbrush and put it all against the heel, the hole around the corner, and they wanted somewhere that it didn't pinch when it went into the body. So those are relief cuts for glue and to make sure, because when you got two right angles coming together, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Sometimes one's a little bit crooked, it doesn't fit, and it pinches. So that was just to eliminate that. So it gave a little glue area, and it made it so it wasn't a straight line all the way to the heel where you would have trouble neck fitting it.
Yep.
So that's why that was there. It's just a relief, you know.
So this new neck tenon made its debut on the 2008 Les Paul Standard, which I have one sitting right across from me. I think, no, that's not a 2008. I have an 08 somewhere.
I can still hear it sustaining. Is that it?
I know, right? You can still hear it. I think I took this at my desk because I had to send a shot explaining to Guitar Center what it was. They wanted a shot of it so bad. That's what I sent them for my old digital camera. I think it was literally sitting at my desk. But that's the pocket.
Right. And you see right there where your cursor just was in the front corner. That's why that relief cut right there for that little edge right there. Yep. Yeah. Make sure that didn't get wedged out or split or anything like that when it was being, because man, it was a job getting that thing in there when it was wet with glue and it fit so tight. The mill room, the boys in the back really, milled it out perfectly,
So it was a whole different process than to set that neck in.
Oh yeah. They had to make different glue clamps to clamp it in with, and there was
I didn't know that. Yeah,
different stuff went on because he wanted to be able to clamp it very down by the end as well. So they made new blocks to fit on the clamp, because the clamp would have a block that went on the fingerboard.
Yeah, it was a C clamp.
Yeah, but it had a little piece of wood glued to it, or a block they would put under it that would put constant pressure all the way down the fingerboard so it wouldn't get lumpy. Because if you didn't, you would have little rises and falls in the fret job, you know, because of the process we did. So you wanted to make sure that fretboard was flat on that body. So that was very important to do that.
The finished piece looked like after it was routed out. Yep. Oh, we wanted to show it off in the neck cavity.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure neck fitting production went down.
First, right?
Yeah. It took a while to get the hang of it.
Here's what's funny. I don't remember hearing any reaction from anybody at the custom shop over that.
No. Because how could they react to it, you know? What could they say? Ours is better at that point.
Yeah.
Now, you know, and we only did it for what, that year, right? 2008? Did we stop? We stopped it after that, right? Not long.
It might have lasted till 2010, because remember, we were doing an asymmetrical neck with that, too.
Right.
Which,
I like that, too.
Yeah, I remember playing some gigs, doing some gig tests with the asymmetrical neck. You know, I would play four-hour gigs.
Right.
And my hand felt great.
It was nice, man. That was
the nicest neck.
Mike Tobias design.
Yeah, you were the one who put the asymmetrical neck on it because of your Tobias history. Yeah. Yeah,
I love that asymmetrical neck. It felt so good playing it. Mike's design was brilliant, you know.
Yep. So I think for that 08 Les Paul redesign, we might have put Tone Pros on it all.
I'm sure we had all kind of cool stuff on there, you know, Bournes pots.
Oh yeah, Bournes pots. Remember we struck up a relationship with Bournes and Neutrik and that here's a funny story. The whole Bournes connection came out of
the Neutrik jack was bad. That didn't go over well.
I'm the blame for that. I'll take the blame. So I put that on the GT. That's where that came from. I just wanted to upgrade everything on a high performance guitar.
Henry loved it. In your defense.
He didn't love the Bournes pots, though.
No.
He's like, who are they? But I'll tell you a story where that came from. We were cleaning out, if you remember, behind my desk was a room that eventually became Julie's office. Remember, there was just all sorts of crap in there?
Sure.
There was an old Les Paul Custom where the headstock was busted off.
Right.
And it was an old, I think, ES 175 that was in there. And the story was when Kalamazoo closed, in the repair shop, like the warranty service center repair shop there was a couple unclaimed guitars. So they sent them to us in Nashville.
Right.
And there they sat over at 1818 forever. Remember the repair shop was over at 1818 Elm Hill Pike?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So when they moved out of there and we moved to the new corporate office off Murfreesboro Road, these two guitars were sent over to Gibson USA just in case anybody claimed them.
Right.
So this Les Paul Custom had a claim ticket from 1981.
Wow.
And now this is about 2006. And I'm looking at this Les Paul Custom, broken headstock. It was modified where the front pickup was taken out. There was a bevel, you know, in this area. They beveled this down to be more comfortable, but they painted fake binding on it, and it had Bournes pots in it. And I remember Eric telling me, "Oh yeah, man, those are like the best of the best. You know, the tolerances are like military grade. You didn't get any better than Bournes." So apparently, like in the 70s, that was a thing where people were using Bournes pots. So it turned out the case said Rick Dufay, a guy's name, and it said care of like Lieber and Stoller in New York. So I go, that name sounds familiar. So I Googled him. Well, he played in Aerosmith when Brad Whitford left.
Really?
And Joe Perry had left. They had this guy, Jimmy Crespo, and Rick Dufay, right?
That was Night in the Ruts.
If you see the video for Lightning Strikes, they're both in it.
Right, okay.
So I take a picture of the guitar sitting on my desk, and I send it to his webmaster. I go, "Hey, do you remember this? Do you remember the story, Frank?"
No, this is all new to me.
All right. So I send him an email. I go, "Hey, remember this?" And I get an email back from Rick. He goes, "Where the hell has that been?" I said, "Call me." So he calls me on the phone and he goes, "I thought I lost that 30 years ago. Never thought I'd see that again." So I go, "Well, I'm really sorry, but it must have come in and they didn't have enough information on it. I didn't have a contact number or anything, but we never threw it out or got rid of it. And I got it here." And I went to Jeff Allen and I said, "Hey, how about we restore this for him at no charge?" So we fixed his neck, made it look all nice again, and sent it back to him. But he said one night, Steven Tyler, not in the greatest shape, cognitive wise at this time, it was back when he was probably drinking and doing other things. He knocked it off the stand and it broke the headstock.
Oh.
So he said his tech sent it in for him, but his tech did something really stupid like the next couple of nights and was fired, and he never saw him again. And Rick never knew what he did with the guitar.
Into the guitar, right.
So anyway, he's reunited with it now. That's where Bournes Pots came from. A long story, but that's a cool story nonetheless, how we got one of his Aerosmith era Les Paul customs back to him. So, hey, here's the big question, though. Was bigger better?
I don't think so. I never noticed the difference in the guitars.
They sounded the same to me.
Yeah, right. Played, it didn't have more sustain. It's just like putting 11 on the knob. Oh, it goes to 11. Remember, Henry said, "We'll make our knobs go to 15." He had knobs that went to 15 for a while on something.
You know what, though? I am of the opinion that if you have a decent neck joint, you're fine. When you go past a certain, there's a point of not diminishing returns, but it gets to the point where we
never had any necks fail.
No.
Think about it. I mean, they broke, headstocks broke, but the necks never came out of the bodies.
Well, actually, I do remember when I first started working there in the mid-'90s, there was a time, and it must have been someone in neck set, where like if the guitar took a hit, the neck was popping out on some studios.
Oh, really? Yeah, it could have been.
Well, remember, I was over at 1818, and the repair shop was right below me, so I'd get to see some crazy stuff.
All right. Well, that's the thing about Gibsons. They're hand built by craftsmen, right? Craftsmen. And some of these people just started yesterday, and they're learning how to fit necks, but they got a number. How many are you going to do today? So it forces people to, go faster. And sometimes you get somebody who doesn't really have the passion or care about what they're doing enough to not get yelled at and just glue them together, throw them together.
Yep.
And slap them together, and you can just chisel the heck out of the wood and fit, and it'll go right in. It'll fall right in.
Yep.
But, there's no really stability check. There's no way to x-ray it and see if he did a good job.
Well, if you string it up and it holds tune, you're probably okay, right? Until it takes a knock.
Right. You would think it would happen in final assembly, but I don't remember that happening often, really, ever.
No, it was rare. It must have been one person in a day who got in a hurry, and we just happened to know the 4 or 5 that it happened to. Yeah. But by the way, that same situation existed in Kalamazoo as it did in Nashville, as it does in Montana, as it does in Corona,
or Kawasaki or Honda, or it happens in GM. Don't buy a car built on a Friday, they used to tell you.
Yeah, or a Monday, right?
Right. Well, so, human beings are doing this. And the Gibson guitar is not automated process where a machine just spits them out.
Yeah, not even close.
We fought through that for years with TQM, where we had to inspect every time, everything, all the way. And that's the only way to ensure that it was done right.
Yep.
And on some things, there was no way to tell. I wish we would have had an x-ray machine. We could have x-rayed the neck joints, but, so we just had to go with what we know,
You'd have to wear
right. Well, we had people that really cared about what they were doing in every department. That was the thing about Gibson, is the passion that people had. Most of them guitar players or guitar builders, or so they wanted to learn how to do it correctly, and they did it correctly because they knew the value of buying an electric guitar. When you buy your guitar like that, man, I witnessed that in Minnesota. I was in Minnesota at Guitar Center buying some strings, and I saw this little guy comes in, probably 8-10 years old, and he's got his mom's with him, and he's like rushing into the store, and he goes and he finds this little pointy Explorer looking thing, and that's what he wanted to have. And then mom bought it for him, and he was out there jamming on it. And I was like, another one is born,
Yep.
There we go. If he sticks with it, 10 years from now, this kid will be doing gigs,
Here's the thing. You never forget that day.
Oh, dude, no.
Nope.
No, not even.
Nope. The day I got my first guitar, I don't think my feet hit the ground walking out of that music store.
Dude, I bought that Fender Strat in Newburgh, New York. Man, there was never a better day, man. I polished it and polished it and polished it. And
hey, one other thing I want to highlight during this episode before we go. You see this hat I'm wearing?
Yeah. 1902.
Do you remember this?
I do.
I don't remember the guy's name, but he was in charge of apparel and somehow got our beginning date wrong. It was 1894. I mean, you could find that date all over every building. It was so easy to find, but he must have found something that said 1902, and he made these hats and shirts and jackets and sweatshirts, probably watches.
And I was like, where did that come from? Yeah.
That guy was fired in 5 minutes, and then we had a garage sale where we're like, we can't sell these to the public, so I had to grab a hat with the wrong date on it. It's just,
why not?
It says a lot about my years at Gibson.
Yeah, were you over there? You were over there at the gear, right? At that point,
I was at gear when we did the garage sale. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody, but hopefully you love this story about our battles with the custom shop. We're not done yet. There's a few more to talk about, but I'll never forget that day. But that's what it was like working on the inside, right? People, when they hear these stories, they go, "But you guys worked for the same company. Why did you do that to each other?" Like, well, we were the way things were designed were to pit each other against each other at certain times for survival.
Greed.
Growth.
That's pretty aggressive. 30% every year.
Every year. Yeah, that's hard to do. Anyway. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like us and comment. BehindTheHeadstock@gmail.com is our email address. We love the feedback we're getting from you guys. So thanks again.
Thanks. Bye.
Go Behind the Headstock with Kevin and Frank, two ex-Gibson employees talking about guitars and the guitar industry with an inside perspective.